2020 has been a year no one could have possibly predicted. It is very likely these lockdowns, the fear of the pandemic, and the anxiety for the future is something we're going to have to live with for a long time. Whether or not 2020 has pushed you to new heights, or if you felt this year was cancelled, I'm sure all of you have learned many things about yourself both physically and psychologically, which we never would have if this pandemic never came about. In this video, I'm going to talk about the top 5 things I learned in 2020. Feel free to skip around to which of these lessons that you can relate to the most. The most important thing I learned this year is that everything is always changing. This is funny because we kinda already know that nothing is permanent in life, but this is something we all take for granted. This year, I've had to adapt tremendously because I was in the final year of my university and the lockdown has shifted all the classes to online classes. I was working about 12 to 15 hours a week as a coach in the gym, but now I had to shift the focus of my business and income towards training my clients online. Now, although it seems like I've adapted and I have everything in place, the hardest part about moving into the lockdown earlier this year was when I lost my job as the training and development manager for life and fitness. Basically, I was told that the company needed to cut costs and that training and development was not an area that they saw necessary if the physical gyms were not open. I felt horrible because I just got promoted to that position 3 months before the lockdown, and I spent about 3 months before that getting the probation and training necessary to get the skills needed to take on that role. To make matters worse, I was the only person who was let go in the company during that time. I was in the worst slump of my life. I felt that I was useless, worthless, and that I couldn't contribute to this society. But after about 2 weeks, I told myself, man, I needed to get myself together, pick myself up from this mess, where I eventually learned that you need multiple skill sets to survive and thrive. When I eventually picked myself up, I decided to ask myself the question, how can I bring and deliver value to the company, instead of asking why does the company not see my worth. At that point in time, the company was making a shift towards creating content online for our gym customers, and it was mostly producing group classes online. I saw an opportunity in this because normally as a physical gym we would provide health and fitness services for our customers. So now that everything was shifted online, this was a chance to provide health and fitness knowledge for our customers instead. After much discussion with the upper management, we set up the virtual academy where I was assigned to be the project manager. Yes, after 3 weeks of being unemployed, I was thankfully re-employed again, and this was like a fresh new injection of life into me. It wasn't easy. I had to learn to effectively manage teams from all 3 of our clubs. I had to learn the basics of filming, editing, and producing videos for our customers. But thankfully, with a lot of hard work and some luck, we managed to produce 4 amazing courses during the lockdown. This was a crucial life lesson for me, and although I was learning a lot of skills on the fly, I noticed I was slowly learning to be more of an entrepreneur. None of these skills were skills I would have picked up this quickly or on my own if not for the lockdown. Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, said entrepreneurs jump down the cliff and build a plane on the way down. It was scary times, but you have to face your fears. I've never liked big public settings or being the outspoken one. I definitely never thought I had the skill sets to be a YouTuber because I always thought I was camera shy. And mostly this came from insecurities like fearing people would think I'm uninteresting or that I didn't have an enthusiastic vibe, and this mostly came from growing up introverted. During the lockdown, I had a lot of free time on my hands, and while I was dealing with all my employment issues, I decided to face the thing I was fearing most, which was being in front of camera. So I did. I decided to start a short 2-minute tips series on Instagram where I talked about fitness and lifestyle tips. It was pretty raw and unedited stuff, but I just wanted to get the reps in. And this was liberating for me because once I'd done that, I felt that nothing could stop me from improving. All those fears I was having in my head, no one has actually told me about them, and thankfully I hope I won't have haters for a long time. But the lesson is that facing my fears made me realize that I had the power to not listen to what my family, my friends, or what society thinks of me, or what they've already prejudged or predetermined my capability to be. I could set my mind towards what I wanted to achieve, and I no longer let anyone decide what I can or cannot do. But obviously putting out content every week is not easy. I don't monetize it yet, therefore saving money is essential. This was something I was so glad I was doing when I started off working as a personal trainer. Now, the bulk of your income as a trainer comes from the commission of the sessions you conducted. So if you're good at getting new clients, conducting those sessions, which I was pretty good at, you really have no issue with getting a good monthly income. At my best times, I was doing medicine from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then I would go to the gym from 5 to 9 p.m. where I was training my clients. I did that Monday to Friday. And for Saturday and Sunday, I was working for about 3 hours each again. So totaling, I clocked up to 60 to 75 hours a month of work. If I'm remembering this correctly, I was earning about 30 to 4k a year. This was obviously quite a generous amount of money working part-time, and I had a big unfair advantage because I still could live like a student. I was living with my parents and they were okay taking care of my basic expenses. And I wasn't the kind to splurge on fancy things like new clothes or gear, and this helped me save a lot of money in the past few years. These savings showed their true worth because even though I lost my job this year, I was never really hurt financially, knowing I had this financial cushion under me. Living from paycheck to paycheck would not have been viable in this pandemic. And while I understand everybody's situation is different, what you really do have control of is controlling your monthly expenses and expanding your capacity to make more money. Most importantly, the money I saved allowed me to invest in 2 amazing courses this year, which were the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, where I learned the basics and fundamentals of producing good videos online, and the Bossgram Academy, which I'm still taking to level up my online coaching business. Basically, jobs get you money, but saving money is truly the first step to financial freedom. And the 5th thing I learned this year is that no matter what happens to you in your life, no one is responsible for how you feel. I have felt sad, disappointed, worthless, happy, appreciated, rewarded, neglected, and loved, all in 2020, sometimes more than once. You can complain or rant or blame your circumstances, but that is not going to change reality. I learned that the sooner I accepted reality, the sooner I could take control of what I was feeling and not let my emotions lead to me making irrational decisions. There have been many downs in 2020, and many of which I wished I didn't have to go through, but without them, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to really strengthen my resilience and develop new skill sets that made me a more complete person today. 2020 has been life-changing, but thankfully I've come out of it much better than how I entered it. If you like this video, then you may also like this one on why I get up early on the weekends. Thanks for watching. Hope you've had a great 2020. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.